slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing cush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Welcome everyone back for day number 2, week number 2 of the BOL Premier League. Today there is one best of 3. One of the best of 3s meant to be played today got rescheduled to Friday. You saw that on Friday night. That was the Spire going up against Literal Monkeys. The Spire ended up taking the 2-0 there. We saw 2 matches yesterday. Conduit Esports with a 2-0 over Dorado Gaming and Team Solo Invade a 2-1 over Elysium. High Alert taking on Omega Gaming today. We're right into draft, and hopefully this time, Chong, if anyone anyone in chat can remember what happened last week, Omega has a little bit of more fortunate luck with their connections and their work schedules.
Yeah, hopefully they don't have to play game 3 and 4v5. Hopefully we got the time limit resolved and we're able to get the full team for all 3 games. But just looking at the bans here, very targeted bans. We see Syndra banned away from Saren, a Galio banned away as well. I assume that's for the same reason. And also Seraphine has to be a flex on the side of Omega because we've seen it banned away a few times. We did see Madge play it in bot lane in week number 1. And then on the other side, I know some of these players on high alert. I do know Ethereal Ice. I've played with her before, so I'm not surprised to see a Lux direct ban away from her. It's one of her best characters. But overall, we're seeing the Jinx locked in. These attack speed 80 carries are the bread and butter of this patch, thanks to the attack speed cap changes and also just the slight buffs to some of these AD attack speed items. But Miss Fortune still as good as ever, despite, the armor nerfs makes her laning a little bit weaker, which is her strong point. So not surprised to see those. And Leandre's users are the cream of the crop this patch with how strong they have been. So Mumu, not surprised to see that locked away here.
We see the Diana lock in as well. This is interesting. It could be potentially Diana in the mid lane, could be Diana in the jungle. Those are the 2 roles that we see Diana played often. The Jinx first pick is definitely pretty risky, I would say, from high alert side, because there are so many things that beat Jinx. Dive compositions like Omega is drafting right now with Miss Fortune and Mumu can give Jinx such a hard time. But one of the nice things to pair that up with would be the Braum here to provide the peel. Concussive blows can stop in advance from the Mumu to get onto her and actually protect her, create that space so that the Jinx can start to pop off. So a lot of pressure on Vertia to create that space. Pressure, I guess, on Reserved as well to make sure that 80 carry is safe. And here, Chong, now this is a little bit interesting. They're playing a Jinx comp with a Diana. What do you think High Alert pairs with this Diana to kind of make this composition work out?
I mean, normally what you see is the cream of the crop. It's the Yasuo Diana. That's normally the 2v2 that a lot of teams go for. But normally when you're drafting this AP jungler, you want to go with an AD mid, so like a Corki, Yasuo, Yone, maybe even Talon. But knowing, these players' champions pool, I know Ice is a lot more than the jungler for high alert. I'm not going to try to butcher their name and try to figure this out. But I know that this Diana pick actually is a flex pick. I know Ice can play this in the mid lane, so wouldn't be surprised to see that put there depending on the matchups. But really curious to see it is. And like you said, Braum goes really good with the Jinx. The other thing that's really good against high dive is the Tahm Kench for support. You get the Devour, but they choose to go with the Braum option. Gives more peel, gives a lot more setup for the team. But the Alawi slam lock-in on R3 for the side of Omega is definitely interesting. We're seeing them ban away some of the rougher matchups that Alawi has of Mordekaiser and Darius. I know there used to be a fun interaction with Mordekaiser Earl as Alawi. If you would cast your ultimate at the right time, you would buffer the ultimate so you wouldn't get pulled into the death realm. But from what I heard from a lot of Alawi mains, it's really hard to pull off. It actually doesn't work half the time. So it's just safer than sorry. Get that away. And Mel banned away. High alert choosing to ban that one. I have heard whisperings from Saren, Corito himself, saying that Mel is an overrated champion. So even if it was up, I don't think he was going to lock it in, but rather safe than sorry. And it looks like Omega, focusing more on that Wombo combo, a Mumu Rel, such a dominant combo. And even with the Misfortune bullet time over top, can be a little hard into the Braum Unbreakable, but, it's still doable if you get the right angles and everything.
It's definitely a team fight oriented composition, and we're going to get the answer of what the Diana pairing is going to be. Will we see some type of Yasuo to go on with it? The champion pool of Ethereal Ice, in the last series that High Alert did play, Syndra, Nico, and Lissandra, and Syndra already taken off the board. Maybe something like a Nico, but again, you said those AD mids do work nicely with Diana, and a solo AP Diana is very nice, but that's not going to be the case. No AD mids are going to be locked in. Ahri is going to be the choice. So we still are yet to see the mid lane pick, at least we think, here from Omega. We'll see what the answer is into something like that. Maybe we see something like a Talia, a Lissandra themselves to try and lock her down. But the dueling potential from High Alert, definitely very strong in this mid jungle. I would expect to see them get active around the middle portion of the map. Maybe look for some invades. Level 6, you get access to Moonfall and Spirit Rush. You can make some things happen. The Cho'Gath Hover and the Cho'Gath is going to be locked in, I believe, for High Alert. So that's going to be the selection here for Bear. And I don't know here, Chong. I don't know how well Cho'Gath will do into something like Alawi. That feels like a very Alawi favored lane, but a lot of the champions that Bear likes to play in the Cassantes, the Scions, the Sets, those also don't seem like great choices into Alawi. So I don't know, maybe this pick here from Omega could be a major X factor in this one.
I mean, that is a lot of AP that High Alert has drafted. So
Yeah.
Cho'Gath has been rising up in priority. I've seen a lot of top laners practicing this champion. You go the Hail of Blades, and then you rush Shirelias as your first item with the new Moby Boots, the Void Souls. I forget the exact name of them, but those are what you're looking for. And then you just get on top of a target because you're Q maxing. So you do so much AP damage from that, and then you're just able to stick on top of them with the Hail of Blades with your E passive. It's a lot of damage, but the High Alert team comp overall is so AP focused. That means Alawi is going to build, I assume, this more bruisery build with the Frozen Fist into more bruisery tankier items. So I think overall, I think this Omega team comp that they've drafted is amazing. And then now they have a Victor over top of it. I mean, if I'm going just based off team comp, it's Omega by a landslide in this first game here.
I would absolutely agree with you. It just seems like ease of execution is what they have going for them with these selections. They have reliable engage with Rel and Amumu. They have side lane power with Alawi. She can bring in a lot of people towards her, and then neutral objectives or even towers can be taken cross map if Omega does want to play that 4-1 style, and it's very effective with an Alawi. On the other side, what we're talking about with High Alert here is there isn't as easy of an engage. You're looking for engage from Braum, who isn't your primary engage person. You do want Braum more as that disengaged champion. Glacial Fissure is better when someone's going into you, or you're just hoping that Diana jumps in as the solo engage, and there's a very real chance she just gets hit with Curse of the Sad Mummy and blown up immediately. So I feel like it's going to be very difficult for High Alert to be able to get these Jinx resets. And I think that puts an even bigger emphasis on having to get an early lead so that they can snowball and not have to worry as much about having to fight their opponents on even footing. So I'll ask you here, Chong, if High Alert is going to get this lead, if they are going to get their jungler online here on this Diana pick, what do they have to do to get that going?
I mean, Diana should have the same level of play speed as Amumu, thanks to her kit and suited for taking multiple camps at once, as in like the Raptors and the Wolves, multiple things spawning in one camp. She can take those very well thanks to her W. But I think overall, they need to play for pushing lanes. It's going to be really hard to get that in the bot lane, but Ari can do a good matchup push into Victor, and I think Cho'Gath should have the advantage over Alawi. So High Alert should just be looking to try to link up with their jungler in a 2v1 situation and invade into the Omega jungle. But I think overall, even without getting Diana online, I think this whole game for High Alert is on Verge's shoulders. If he gets put behind at all, they will do negative damage this game because they are full AP without him. So I really think this is do or die by Verge and his positioning. So it's going to be a really tough game for High Alert as a whole team with what Omega has drafted. Their game plan is much more simple, much more straightforward. Get a team fight, get the Wombo combo ultimates, just layer it all on top of each other, and you win every team fight. So it's ease of execution on the side of Omega, and it's a bit riskier, but if you can pull it off as High Alert, this will give you such a momentum swing going into game number 2.
It absolutely would. It would be such a boost of confidence to be able to get this first victory. And then you'd only need one more to put away your opponents. These are best of 3s, not best of 5s. So every single game win, it puts you that much closer to success in this series. We have our teams locked in. We're favoring Omega, but we'll see if High Alert can pull off some magic. Again, it's a lot on Versia and on the Diana right now to be able to make things happen, even in the mid lane as well. We'll see once we get onto the Rift if they can get the leads they need to grab this game 1 victory. We're going to cut to a short break, and when we return, we're onto the Rift for game 1 between High Alert and Omega Gaming. Welcome to the Rift for High Alert versus Omega Gaming. This is week 2, day 2 of the BOL Premier League. And we're starting things off maybe with some action right here in the Banana Brush. Persp is going to face check. Not going to get knocked up by the Rupture there from Bear. Early vision for Omega Gaming. Again, reminder, those of you who missed the very eventful week 1, day 2 of last Sunday, Omega had connection issues and had lost 2 games to Dorado in their 2-1 series loss because they had those disconnections. It was Persp in game 1, and then it was Caxi in game 2. Hopefully this time, none of that happens, and they want to get themselves right back on track in the Premier League with a win today here, Chong.
Yeah, hopefully we do not have that again, as in, last week. That stream was like, we were talking about it in between. It was like 6-7 hours, but most of it was just between Dorado and Omega, and it was fast. It made it felt like long time for the games, but the in between there was no breaks. But an interesting thing on the side of Omega is they have their full intended starting roster this week, as we don't see Concrete again. They are a substitute for the team. They have their actual starter of Nobili. Or Nubili, I'm not sure which way, but they have their full intended roster. Definitely going to be interesting. And the other interesting thing is Saren is going the Graps focus on the Victor in this mid lane. He has the Slater range and more empowered autos, so wants to go for the laning power of that and be a little bit tankier against what Hyler has drafted.
I'm not sure if the Grasp, though, as you can see, Saren got a nice proc there. I'm not sure how efficient it is into a ranged matchup. I know into melees, the idea is you're constantly getting those Grasp procs, so you're getting that bonus HP all the time. But against a melee champion, is Saren actually going to proc Grasp the Undying enough to make it worthwhile, or would it have been better just to run maybe the Summon Airy for some better trading? I don't know. We'll end up seeing. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. But I know you and I spoke highly of Saren because Saren performed so well in that series that we casted that Omega played against Dorado. So Saren, we'll see if they can replicate that same type of performance. I do remember Persp as well in that game too for Omega having a great game on the Alawi. This is a champion that they really do like to play often, and it isn't that Hail of Blades tech that you were talking about earlier in Champion Select, Chong. So the standard Grasp of the Undying, Doran's Ring, Start Cho'Gath, so far kind of trading all right, but still getting pushed in by that Alawi as we see more trading in the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of not surprised to see Cho'Gath going Grasp. I mean, it makes sense in the matchup, but it's also bad into Alawi just because when she does pull your soul out, it does percentile health damage back to you. So it could be a little bit risky, but I think you said it well. I think overall the whole side of Omega played really good in that series versus Dorado. I think if it was straight up 5v5s, they get the 2-0. We don't even have that game 3. But sadly, it ended up happening. I think Omega is definitely a team that people might be, not giving enough credit because they did lose in week 1. But you got to remember, there's a big asterisk next to it, as they only lost because it was 2 4v5s. When it was a straight 5v5, they won that game. And it was kind of a smash. It didn't even feel close for the most part. But, I think overall, it's going to be a little bit of a rough laning phase in the bot lane and most of the lanes here for the side of High Alert. You see Perp getting the trade here. Bear has a flash. Wow. Perp is still looking.
He does have flash. Is it going to be able to get the tentacle smash off of cooldown? It doesn't look like it. I think that was a really good preemptive flash from Bear as, okay, yes, that Scuttle Crab is going to die to the burn from the jungle pet. But we got a gank going on here. Ethereal Ice is under attack. It is a 2-person gank. Noobly and Caxi working together to try and make that happen. They get the flash off of Ethereal Ice. So she's not going to have any type of dashes or escapes for the next couple of minutes before that level 6 comes in. Might see Caxi and even Nubili as well moving with their jungler go for that regank.
Yeah, I mean, Noob, I think, was a little hesitant to go for that play. Once Caxi hits that first bandage toss, Noob should just be flashing in, landing the Q, landing the knock upon the crash down, and then the second bandage toss comes out. It's a free kill if they're just willing to burn that flash on your support. But since they don't do it, Ice gets out with her flash. Gonna feel a little bit sad that had to happen, but it's better staying alive than dying at this point, especially if Saren does get that kill and starts to upgrade their abilities faster. And we're just going to see Perp do this all the time up here in this top lane. Whenever Bear gets in range, their soul's going to be yoinked out. They're going to smack it down a little bit and start doing damage. And it's going to be more and more over and over throughout this lane because most Alawis I know do like going with that Emax just because it does more damage the more you level it up. But, they could be going the Q-Max. I'm not sure which way they're going. There's two valid options, but it all depends on how you want to play the lane. But I think for the side of High Alert, they're going to be pushed into most of these lanes. Maybe mid lane is the only one that's going to be neutral. I mean, Madge on this Misfortune, known for her laning strength, Jinx known as a scaler. Alawi dominates almost all top lane matchups, and we see it there in the 10 CS lead. So it's really on High Alert to be on the front foot on making these plays, and they're going to try to make a play here on Saren, but he's hovering very well to the opposite side of where his jungler is, which you don't see often. So I like that heads up play by them.
Level 6 is not available as well, so the ganking power for Diana and Reserved here, not as effective, and they're without the level 6 on Ethereal Ice as well. Now, you said a lot of priority is given to Madge and Nobility in the bot lane, as well as for Saren. Even Perst as well is able to push in Bear quite effectively. Now, despite this, Bear is able to walk on through the back door and help out Diana clearing out these grubs, and it will just be an objective trade. So, honestly, though, because they aren't necessarily able to push these towers right now, it might be a beneficial trade here to start getting those dragons if you are Omega. And if they can keep stacking those up, then that can be a big boon for them later on. We'll see what kind of value, though, if plays are made as we jump into a pause. Hopefully, that isn't because of a certain thing we were worried about a little bit before, but we'll kind of get an inkling as to what is going on there and a little bit more time to talk about the game. As for now, I think it is, at least as far as lane phase goes, Chong, like you were saying, firm control for Omega. We just want to see them keep that objective control going and work towards those level 6 spikes.
Yeah, and I really do like this objective trade for the side of Omega. We saw Bear able to come down and help with those Void Grubs because they should not be walking into the lane to try to catch the wave. They should be waiting for Perp to crash it into them and then pick it up, especially because they don't have the flash. If Perp ever gets the angle, they can just solo kill Bear at this point. So Bear playing it smart, being like, hey, I'm not going to be able to catch this wave until it comes to my turret. Drops a little bit of the wave to help on the grubs, but they did get a feast stack, so that's already a win in their book. But Omega going to stack up these early dragons. They're not worried about the turret pressure that High Alert has because none of these things should be pushing in. And thank God we get an unpause. But, but yeah, no, regardless, I really do like the focus that Omega has. We saw them be very smart on their objective takes in week number 1, so not surprised to see them playing it this way, and a very heads-up play by them to know what is more important for them. We're going to get the classic spectator bug here where it's going to buffer for a minute, but, you know, it's always fun here when you get to work with the small indie company of Rad Games.
Yeah, and now we get well, we're getting very close to level 6s, and I mentioned that before we went into the pause, but both teams actually very much like their level 6 spikes. Amumu loves it. Curse of the Sad Mummy is fantastic. Misfortune loves it because of Bullet Time. Ethereal Ice will love it for Spirit Rush. Moonfall for Diana is really where she starts to unlock the full potential of her skirmishing power. So I expect, if nothing is going to happen in terms of ganks, or the next couple of minutes, around these next neutral objectives, we might see some big fights break out. That'll start to dictate the pace of who's going to start to take control of this game. As Bear having a real hard time in the 1v1 against Purse, who's actually going to flash forward. The last Tentacle Smash does not find the last bit of damage. Oh my goodness. The other one, though, kind of saw him recalling, didn't quite hit. We're now going to see a gank come through, but guess who's here for the counter? It's Caxi. It is the Curse of the Sad Mummy onto 3. The Bullet Time over the top as well is good for first blood. Fantastic read from Caxi, and completely reads the Diana like a book. First blood goes to Omega.
Yeah, I mean, Caxi was sitting in that bush for about a minute and a half, channeled, recalled, canceled it, I think 2 to 3 times. Very heads-up play by them, waiting for this lane to push in, and maybe the gank play was there. And waits perfectly, gets the max range bandage toss onto Diana, and instantly shuts that play down. Cleanse and heal used by the bot lane of High Alert here. And First Blood goes onto a key member, Madge, able to pick that one up there. Already up 10 CS, gets that now. So you're feeling real good if you are on the side of Omega.
It's a fantastic start for them. Let's see what they can do with this now. Again, now the Curse of the Sad Mummy is going to be down. We still got a good chunk of time before this next Drake, so they will have it up unless another play is made in the meantime. But otherwise, look at the mid lane too. This is a massive farm lead for Saren. They have been dominating this lane phase thus far. Ethereal Ice has not really been able to keep up. And when Ari's pushed in like this, her playmaking potential just completely goes down the toilet. She can't move around with the Diana and make anything happen. You even saw on the back end of that play down bot lane, it was Ethereal Ice kind of waiting, but they were just too late to get there, as we're seeing more trading from Purse every single time. This is going to be Alawi favored, getting those grass procs. And honestly, Chong, you look at the CS gap, the further and further we go down in this game, I think this is just going to get even worse for Bear.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be able to handle Perp in a side lane come the late game. And honestly, it's looking hard for them to be able to answer Saren once with the lead that they have. But you did mention what I was going to say. We did see Ice willing to drop a wave to try to come down for that bot lane play. Nothing comes out of it, and it just is a bit of wasted time down a whole level to Saren now. So you kind of feel it rough if you are high alert, because this is a team comp that kind of needs to get ahead early. And the way Madge and Noob are just playing this lane is just really strong by them. Like, Noob was down a level on that earlier play. Reserved hadn't really left lane at all. So it's, making plays happen before you hit the level 6, even as a support, is important. But, High Alert learned from last time. They got a ward in that back push. Caxi going to be seen there, so they know exactly what's going to happen. So overall, Omega kind of controlling the tempo now. They're up almost 2K at this point in the game, and we're seeing pings on the bot side from the side of Omega, probably for wards, but the next objective on the map is that second set of grubs spawning up. Maybe we'll see Caxi walk up there, or maybe, they're just proud of the second dragon, knowing that the tower push on the side of High Alert is not really strong.
If I'm going to be honest, I really would like to see them actually contest it, because the way that the last fights have been going for them, I think it's going to go well for them again, especially because First is so much stronger at this current moment than Bear. And you can kind of see Caxi now walking up. They're going to clear out this vision, and Diana's actually on these grubs with Bear, but they're here contesting this. They were able to get one. They got 4 Void Grubs, but there is the engage. Curse the Sad Mummy onto one. That Arcane Storm doing so much damage to Ethereal Ice. Moonfall is good, but there's no follow-up here, so it's only Diana hitting. Ethereal Ice tries to help out their jungler, but they just can't provide enough because their health is too low, and it will be Caxi who grabbed the kill. Saren almost dropped, but with the flash could escape. Nice attack there from Omega to stop the 6 grubs from coming through on the side of High Alert.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that happened in that play wasn't Omega getting the kill or Saren getting out. It was the one Void Grub going over to the side of High Alert, because they have Bear on this Cho'Gath. Just walks over, feast a Void Grub, and then you can deny even the second spike for the neutral objective feats for the side of Omega. So really heads up play by High Alert. Kind of got caught with their pants down there. A nice 3-man ult out of Caxi, and really good burst damage out of Saren, even without that full completed item at that point. But, High Alert gets the kill. High Alert sadly missing out on the kill on Saren. Maybe the grasp coming in clutch there for Saren, giving them a little bit of extra tankiness and survivability against this Diana. But overall, like you said, it is a good play out of Omega, but High Alert stopping a crucial point on the map. They're going to have to fight for this dragon to get closer to the 3 neutral objectives for feats.
And getting that grub did prevent that extra feat from coming through for Omega's side. They have 2 out of the 3 kills for the first feat of strength, or I guess you would call it the feat of warfare. If they pick up this Ocean Drake, then it'll be 1 more Drake away. And I have to assume, just based on the control that they have in this game, first tower likely going to go their way as well. So it's looking like a feats of strength game for Omega. That's going to add on to more of their mid-game spike. They're getting to their first item spikes right now. So at the current moment, with no one on their first item spike for the side of High Alert, they're very much stronger, but Saren in a 3 versus 1 is not strong enough. Excellent job from Bear as well to make their way down. Didn't actually get involved in the play, but the Diana and Ethereal Ice able to make that play happen and grab the first kill of the game for High Alert.
Yeah, really good punish on an okay, for a second I thought that Scryer missed both of Caxi and Noob, but it hits. But yeah, really good punish on the side of High Alert for punishing the flashless immobile control mage in the mid lane. Saren trying to just push in the wave. First are going to get stunned up here. How's the flash away?
Glacial Fissure goes down onto Madge. They're trying to jump onto Nobility right now. Irel is in some trouble. Here comes Ethereal Ice from the mid lane as well. Spirit Rush plus the Charm connects. They bring down the Omega support. The next target will be Caxi on this move, who uses the Curse of the Sad Mummy to try and buy some time. Doing a pretty good job of it. Saren's joining the play as well. The laser will finish off the Jinx, but now hit up with the concussive blows. Saren is in a whole world of trouble. No flashes available. Ethereal Ice backing on away. I feel like they could have finished this off, but Madge is playing a really good job of doing the bodyguard duty. And Reserved now jumping forward to try and protect their jungler. Charm does connect, but this Misfortune out of mana but full of health, ready to fight, and the rest of High Alert back on away.
Yeah, I think that was a really good turn fight by High Alert. I still think oh no, the feet went over to high alert because they picked up the 2 kills before
That's
the trade
insane.
kill onto Verja. So really good for them. Really good roam by Ethereal Ice. You know, yes, the play mid happened. They didn't get the reset before it, but still coming down and making it work. Maybe if they got the reset, they would have the mana to be able to kill Saren and Madge on the back end, as Madge had ran out of mana. But everybody's health bar is a little too low, a little bit unconfident, maybe on the side of high alert. I like the call to back out of the play. You got exactly what you wanted. You now have Ethereal Ice on 3 kills on this Ahri. She's very strong here. Yes, Versa goes down, you know, maybe cleansed a little bit late, maybe flashed when he could have just cleansed to get out of the stun from Nubili. But overall, you are happy on the side of high alert to get that first feat and deny it from the side of Omega, who has had a pretty dominant early game, not able to recontest on the Dragon, but you're going to look towards the Herald to stop that feat stacking for them.
Oh my goodness, Ethereal Ice! The shield from the Q ability there from Saren, able to keep themselves alive. The red buff is not enough. But I thought that was a pretty disrespectful recall there. You could see Ethereal Ice was thinking about it. They're like, I'm going to flash on him. I'm going to do it. How dare they try and recall like that right in front of me? Unfortunately, not enough damage to grab that kill. Let's see now. Caxi is on the way. All 3 kills, by the way, did go over to Ethereal Ice, so they are very strong. Versia, remember, no flash available. The Bandage Toss is not quite in range. Good use of the Chompers from Versia to make sure that Caxi can't quite get in range. Hitting onto the tower for free is Ethereal Ice, and flanking first right now is the Diana. But this is a really risky gank here, Chong. Leap of Faith is available. Nice dodge on the Spirit Pole. This is their time to go in and make the kill happen. Alawi is strongest when she has her Spirit pulled, but you can see that they're very hesitant to pull the trigger, and now we get feats of strength as well onto high alert because it is Ethereal Ice to grab down that turret. Now Purse is going to be engaged on the Diana, so very low. The red buff, or there is no red buff actually ticking, but Purse is getting so close to finding at least one of these kills. Now jumping onto Bear, who does have flash, gonna dodge away from the Rupture Tentacle Smash. One more auto attack will do the trick, and Purse completes the 1 versus 2, just like most Alawi's would, and they're making the Alawi mains proud.
Yeah, Purse really outplayed in that. I mean, whenever you gank a Alawi 1v2, you got to be confident that you are going to get the burst down and to get that kill. Instead, high alert just not able to get that one. But, you know, big shout out to Ethereal Ice. If anybody watched a bit of Odd Talk yesterday, Saren was saying some stuff about Ethereal Ice, just, you know, commenting on her play and having a lot of questions about it. So Ice really stepping up and showing Saren that, like, maybe not giving respect where respect is due and being a little bit disrespectful. Ice picking up 3 kills, gets the feat of warfare for their team, and then picks up solo mid lane turret and picks up the full completed feats of strength for her team. I mean, if you're Ice, you got to be feeling real confident in this gameplay, and hopefully you can carry that into the mid and then the late game, where it becomes a little bit harder to pull off what Ahri wants to do in the late game. But bot lane, we're getting a little bit of a fight here.
Ooh, Flash had to be burned from Nubility to get away from the Glacial Fissure. So that will be something mitigated from the Rel. Caxi now has to run into a Cho'Gath, and you cannot bring this Rift Herald any lower because Bear does have beast available, and you cannot smite it. But the eye proc will secure the Herald for Omega. Unfortunately, Bear couldn't quite get in range. I feel like maybe Bear decided to just even suicide for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're playing Cho'Gath, and you know that you can outsmite any jungler with your feast, and he walked away for no reason. Like, Caxi bandage tossed onto him. The Herald came, and he said, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to pick this up for my team. But, you know, regardless, Bear gets out of the play. Curse of the Sand Mummy burned by Caxi. Mid lane turret now going to go down to Saren here, who had gotten a lot of damage. Oh, never mind. Ice clears wave. Good on her. But, yeah, Saren chunking this turret down thanks to the help of Grubs and also just the amount of damage he did onto it early.
We're seeing a fight here. Invade. Oh, okay. Blast going over the wall. Now they're going to have to try and get out of here. Is the high alert support and jungle duo. I can't remember. I didn't quite see who ended up getting the Gromp there. So whoever did definitely has the mental advantage. It was Caxi? Okay. So that's actually pretty tilting. Whenever you get your camp that you're trying to take away smited from, it's always the mental advantage for the junglers. And right now, you know, Caxi has been having more of the successful game over this Diana right now. I think the really only saving grace is Ethereal Ice. We've been praising her. She did get the feats of strength for the team. She is 3-0. Everywhere else doesn't feel very good. Jinx is down 30 farm. Top lane is getting absolutely ruined. It's 1.2k in the lead for both bot lane, essentially, and top lane. So Omega very much in the lead right now is Saren. Well, you are on the wrong side of the map, my friend. You do have your top laner who's coming to help you out, and you guys can pick up some flowers on the way. On your way to creating a bouquet, that's 3. All right, not bad. Getting a little bit of XP. and there's nothing there for Ethereal Ice and Diana. So they just play the ring around the rosy game and walk on out.
Yeah, I mean, Ice might be the strongest member of High Alert, but it's only a 1k gold lead for them over Saren just because of the CS gap. And Nobility's gonna die here. They have no flash.
Very much in trouble, but guess what? There is a massive engage. Versia is actually going to drop too. Madge did not have enough mana for the bullet time, so had to walk up and auto-attack it. But it is a 1-for-1. The kill did go to Versia, but still, Madge can get this wave crashed, and they do force the TP here off of Bear, of all people, to catch the wave.
Yeah, I think that was very disrespectful by Versia. They have cleanse. They don't cleanse out of the Shattering Strike from the Rel, so Madge just gets free time to walk past reserved and get the kill. I think if you just burn the cleanse there and take literally 2 steps backwards, you get a kill. You don't end up dying for it because Madge isn't able to actually get on top of you and deal all that damage that they have, and it's a positive play. But Ice is gonna ult forward here.
It's surprising because it didn't really feel like... I mean, maybe if the charm landed, the charm did go wide there, they could have tried to burst Caxi. Again, Caxi has Merc Treads and a Kindle Gem, but that Liandry's Torment is not going to be the best item for keeping you alive. We're starting the Infernal Drake for the side of High Alert. It doesn't actually look like Omega cares about this. They have ults and everything. I think this is a big mistake. I feel like they definitely should have contested this. That would have been sole point for them. They do trade the tier 1 in the end. By them screaming overall worth, that's a really big boot fall, but there's simply no follow-up. Flash away from Diana to get away from the bullet time. Nice rupture actually interrupts the bullet time as well. Pay attention to that interaction later on in the game. That might be a very big asset to High Alert. They get the Drake, they lose their tier 1, but I think they lose a tier 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the side of Omega, you're saying worth. You don't care that they pick up a singular dragon. You picked up mid tier 1, got a second Herald charge onto the tier 2 and mid, and Purse literally just solo pushed the top lane turret while Bear came to secure the dragon just because you Cho'Gath to get the feast stack, and since he had the TP bot, he was going to be stuck down there anyway unless he chose to reset and go back top and not be part of that play. So really smart play by Omega to just be like, hey, it doesn't matter if they get this dragon. It's not Soul Dragon. It's not even Soul Point. It's just one singular dragon. We'll fight for the next one. But the biggest thing is, because on the side of High Alert, you have drafted this Cho'Gath, Otacon is a lot easy. I'll say this lightly. It's a lot easier than it normally is because you can just kill it before it kills you half the time, but it's always a risky buff to take. It does so much damage. Teams do not respect it. But speaking of not respecting, it's High Alert with the invade coming out of Caxi and Nobility.
The Bandage Toss is just not going to connect. We also have to talk about Voracious Otacon on this patch here, Chong. 15.3. We're not going to see the patches the same way that Riot's been doing it recently. We're just going to call it 15.3 as Madge is able to successfully knock down a tier 2. That's going to inject a lot of gold into Misfortune. The Voracious Otacon is very much nerfed. The withdraw time was reduced from 5.5 seconds to 15 whole seconds. So, you know, in terms of using Otacon to get a fight, for some summoner spells, make the enemy team reset, but you get onto the map faster because you have those withdraws. You don't get back onto the map as fast. The last nerf was the gold that you got. Now it's how long it takes to withdraw. So we'll see how effective this objective can be. And Omega, for the moment, they're putting pretty high priority on it.
I still think this Otacon is busted. I still think it's the most broken thing in the game, despite the nerf on the withdrawal time, like you stated, is 15 seconds now. It's a long time in an aspect of the League of Legends game. But I'll reserve my thoughts, as it looks like we're going to get a fight to break out here.
They're going to try and maybe flip this. Caxi gets low, but there's the bullet time Curse of the Sad Mummy combination. So far, it's a trade of junglers. Nobility is doing a great job keeping everyone from High Alert at bay. That gives enough time for Omega to secure the Otacon. Madge now going to try and get away. Is actually going to use the flash instead of just accepting their fate. Doesn't want to give that 200 gold over. Tower's alive, so Saren will not get collapsed on. And Omega able to walk on out of that one with the objective in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, good heads-up play by Madge and Saren to just finish that and not let Versia and Ice walk up and try to contest them with it. But I still think, even on the side of High Alert, you're kind of okay with it going over. Like, yeah, you got the 2 pickup kills back-to-back, like, on Nobility, and I think it was just Nobility. I think Caxi died before it. So I think you're, like, kind of okay with it. Never mind, Bear might die here. Nope, gonna get away from the tentacle. Yeah, Persp is a side lane monster, but you know,
there's like 40 of them down there.
Yeah, I mean, I still do think this Otacon is busted. I think the 15-second is a big nerf to it, but I still think the free life where you can just kind of cheat tempo in a way. It's not as broken as it used to be. I still think a free life in this game is kind of insane because you can still force these objectives, get crucial summoner spells like flashes that are a 5-minute cooldown compared to a 15-second one. I'd make that trade any day of the week.
Definitely still going to be an asset to Omega. 4-0 for Ethereal Ice, still holding on to that very strong standing in this game, although they are down 40 CS. So Saren, in the reality of things, is almost just as strong as Ethereal Ice is. They are both on 2 items. And let's see what Omega does. Going for the engage, that's a Moonfall burn for Saren to get chunked to 2/3 HP, still having that Otacon buff, and that double up hit Ethereal Ice and chunk them to about half their health. This is a near 3-item misfortune, so those crits are going to absolutely hurt. And that is also Spirit Rush used as well. So if I'm Omega Gaming, oh my goodness, you have them lined up right now for a massive fight. Look at that, Curse of the Sad Mummy, bullet time over the top. It is an absolute shellacking of a team fight. Persp is here as well, and Bear's like, where did my teammates go? They just evaporated in front of my eyes. Now he's got to try and hightail it out of here. But this definitely means now Chong Baron is on the menu here at the 25-minute mark for Omega.
Yeah, I think using the Ari ultimate like that is a little questionable. I think that's like one of the only bad plays Ethereal Ice has made in this game. I definitely think it's risky to just try to get that. Even if you hit it on the Saren, like we said, they have the Otacon buff. They just withdraw and then they come back on the map in 15 seconds. And they have TP, so it's not even like they're that out of tempo for it. But I think the more questionable thing is the Ari build this game. They went the Blackfire Torch into a Horizon Focus. So their damage profile has significantly fallen off because they didn't go for like a Death Cap or Void Staff. This is more of a supportive Ari trying to kind of set up Verja and Diana to be the carries in this game come the later game because Ari is very difficult to pilot in the late game sometimes. But because of how far behind Verja and Diana are, I think they should have gone for the more aggressive burst build and kind of be like, if I miss a charm, I do nothing for a little bit. But I think that's the correct play. And Baron went over to Omega. They're just churning down this mid lane as Dragon number 2 goes over to high alert. They're going to be a little bit late on resets. We see them contemplating how they want to take this, if they want to get a 2-man flank or go in. And Ice is going to be on Vision. Now Diana's going to be picked up on Vision. And Omega's just going to retreat up into the top lane. We see Pings coming out. Persp still in the bot lane. And it looks like they're going to try to force a play here on Decaxi.
I don't know why Omega's running. I feel like I'm fighting this. If they want to run at you, they are so far ahead. They're up 10,000 gold here, Chong. Why are they not just running back at them? Persp is able to knock down, or at least, did they get the tier 2? They might have got the tier 2, but either way, it's down. I have no idea why they didn't try and go for that fight. They are so much stronger. Now they're going to set up this patented 4-1 that we were talking about all the way back in Champ Select. Alawi can do great things in this solo side lane. They are trying to knock down this tower, but their siege potential isn't fantastic. They really do thrive in a hard engaged setting. Look at the damage that Bear is taking. Oh my goodness, the Spirit Pull almost knocking him all the way down, but that gives free time for Persp to hit onto this bot lane inhibitor tower. And now High Alert has to try and say, are we going to go down there to try and stop this from happening? Or are we just going to say, so long to that inhibitor, let's just try and batten down the hatches here?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. I think Omega should have engaged on them in that top side of the lane. It would have ended the game if they just did it. But now they're kind of struggling to break this top lane inhibitor turret. But Persp having no problems in the bot lane up against Bear. They're just going to break open this inhib. And it's either you got to rotate Bear up and give up the inhib and then look to defend your Nexus turrets. But
the leap of faith. Oh my goodness. It killed Bear through the Spirit Pull. Now Persp is flashing forward. Can he find Ethereal Ice? He can. That is the plays that you want to see from your Alawi, and we're seeing all hell break loose on the other side. Omega is capitalizing on the pressure that their top laner is applying. One inhibitor is down. The mid lane one is not long for this world either. Bot lane inhibitor is 1 health as well. Chong, they might just try and end the game here.
yeah, I do think it is just game here at this point. I don't see how High Alert is able to...
Oh, massive 3-person Curse of the Sad Mummy into the bullet time. Look at that Arcane Storm. It's a gorgeous red circle of destruction. And Omega has done exactly that. Destroyed their opponents in this game number 1. Clean victory here. 15,000 gold in the lead. 15-6, 28 minutes. They're feeling good after that one.
Well, good news for High Alert. You only have to play against Alawi once because it is fearless. But I mean, I think overall, I think High Alert's draft was lacking a lot of things. They tried their best to play it out. Ethereal Ice, I think, had a good game on this Ari, only dying twice, still put out a decent amount of damage, but I just think Omega's comp is a lot simpler to perform on, and Perse is on one of their main champions, absolutely destroying Bear with the double exhaust Lowry as we get the fun little Clyde issue sometimes with post-game summoner spells. But yeah, I mean, I think Perp is just an unkillable monster with what Hyler drafted.
It's absolutely the case. And Cho'Gath was drafted into that Alawi. So it's clear that High Alert really did not have the response or a prepared response for this Alawi. And on top of that, I'll go as far as to say High Alert didn't really look like they had a game plan going into this. They looked lost compared to Omega with what their game plan was. Where did this Diana fit into the team? Were you looking for wombo combos? Were you looking to play for Jinx? It was kind of all over the place, and that definitely showed in this one. Jinx got to the moment, or at least Verzia got to the point where you're on that cusp of the three items, and that's where you want to build Infinity Edge and Mortal Reminder. But those items are so expensive. You're not farming anymore because you're constantly having to defend your base and look for fights. The CS isn't going your way, and the Jinx falls further and further behind while Miss Fortune's grabbing every single wave. So it didn't feel like they had the right draft for a Jinx. It didn't feel like they had the right draft for a Diana. And like you said, Chong, the Alawi just ran the side lane. So as far as draft goes, Omega definitely looked like they were the team with the better plan going forward. But like you said, fearless draft. So in game number 2, will High Alert be better prepared? Are the power picks gone from Omega's side? That's what we're going to find out coming out from this break, which we're about to transition into right now. And when we return, game 2 is on the horizon. Don't go anywhere. We are straight back in for the game number 2 draft. This is the BOL Premier League, and it is Omega Gaming taking on High Alert. They've swapped sides. Omega is on the blue side. High Alert want that coveted counter pick on that red side. And we are into the draft. We got the exact same bands between both of the teams, but we have different champions as we are in that Fearless draft. This time, Omega, they are also coveting that first pick ADC, but something that is a little bit more blind pickable in the Varus.
Yeah, I mean, the Varus first pick, not really surprising. Like I said, the attack speed changes are very good for a champion like Varus who has 2 builds. You can much more easily go the on-hit build nowadays. But I wouldn't be surprised to still see lethality out of them because of how diverse he is with build. You always have the 2 different options, and it all depends on what the enemy team comp drafts. Now we see the Wukong locked in. This champion was nerfed this patch. The Warrior Trickster cooldown has been increased at all ranks, and the Nimbus Strike attack speed has been reduced at all ranks. So it's definitely a bit of a nerf overall. Still very solid champion, still can be playable, but you know the priority does fall down a little bit. And a Malzahar locked in here as the Orianna was already locked in for the side of High Alert. But it looks like we're going to get that coveted Orianna Nocturne Wombo combo. So hopefully High Alert is able to pull this one off, because it's very effective when it works on champions like the Varus. But it can be difficult to land on the Malzahar because he has the free Banshee's Veil in his passive. But Malzahar was banned away from Saren last game, so not surprised to see him lock this one away here. But really curious to see how he ends up playing this one out, because this is a champion I have not seen in quite some time.
It can be difficult maybe for Nocturne once that paranoia goes down and Nocturne's in the back line. Then he's just hit with a Nether Grasp and he can't move, and you're just completely negated from doing a whole lot of anything. So for High Alert, if that does end up being something that hinders them, they really have to nail this Nocturne Orianna combo and completely take someone out of game. Someone like Madge on this Varus would be the perfect target as of what we see so far in the draft. Can they pull off the combo is the question, because we even see pro players mess this combo up. I know JDG messed it up this morning over in the LPL. So hopefully High Alert's practiced on that. They have good follow-up with it as well with Jhin, with Curtain Call. So their composition this time, we were criticizing their composition in game 1. It's looking a whole lot better here. And it looks like this Maokai is going to go up into the top side. They're going to take that blind pick and save the counter pick for their support.
So this could still be Maokai flexed into support. It's still
That's
a very
true.
strong support pick. But, you know, I did want to say the thing I want to see out of High Alert now with the draft they have so far is some hard engage options. Maokai does allow you to have that with the Twisted Advance, but the Nethergrass, I forget the ultimate name, the R, is a little bit slow, so can be hard to lock down everybody, especially because you can just have Wukong Warrior Trickster have the clone tank one of the paths on it, and then everybody else just stand there in a complete still line. You can do the same with Tom Kench. This is going to be a Tom Kench support, I assume, and it is. We see Renekton locked in here. So if High Alert wants, they could have Bear pick a strong matchup into this Renekton, or if they feel comfortable on the Nocturne into it, can still just pick it up into here. But so far, I do like the direction High Alert has gone in their draft. It's a lot more simple, and that's not locked in yet. We don't talk about hovers until it's locked in, but definitely some spice if that does get locked in. But, you know, for the side, it is locked in. We're seeing a Gangplank top lane. Been a while since I've seen this champion. If you are good at Gangplank, this champion does damage. He is a actual beast if you can set up the barrel chains correctly, get everything going. I can't play this champion worth a damn, so I don't even try anymore, but I definitely think it is a interesting pick to come out here on R5.
It is very interesting, and a lot of Gangplank players actually do like the Renekton matchup, which is why I'm assuming High Alert went for this. Although it just doesn't seem to me like a bear champion. They're not someone who plays a lot of those carries. They are more for those melee juggernauts, those tanks, and those bruisers. So we'll see how practiced they are on this pick, and it can be very good into that Renekton. I think if it falls flat, though, it's going to very much be kind of like a cinder block weighing down High Alert if he's not able to deal that damage, because that's really all that Gangplank provides. He has some slows on the barrels, some slows on the cannon barrage, but Renekton, from a behind standpoint or even a neutral standpoint, can do a whole lot more. And there is still, again, a lot of engage from the side of Omega, a lot of different pick tools that they have, like the Nether Grasp from Saren's Malzahar, Chains of Corruption from Madge on the Varus. And High Alert, We criticized their composition in game one, Chong. Do you think they have enough synergy here to be able to pull off Nocturne Oriana to get those picks off at the right moments and be able to then force a fight 5 versus 4? Do you have the faith in High Alert here is I guess what I'm trying to ask you.
So looking at the draft for High Alert, my biggest issue is actually the Gangplank pick. It's the R5 Gangplank. I think everything else makes so much sense. If you just pick another engage option, if you pick a mouth fight, like your engage options are so easy, it's so simple, it all works together. If Nocturne's not in range for an Oriana to put a ball on, you got a second ball delivery, you got a Malphite, you got somebody else. But because of this Gangplank, you're kind of already playing fights 4v5 without them, because you have to get a specific setup that you want for Gangplank to be very effective in these team fights, and a lot of time they just prefer to be in a side lane, creating so much pressure with their kit. They do have the empowered auto thanks to their passive, so it's something that is very hard for a lot of teams to play around, and it depends on how practiced High Alert is. I think overall their draft as a 4-man core makes a lot of sense, but that 5th one really puts a wrench into the plans they're trying to make. Unlike Omega, who once again, we're just seeing simple engage options, very much a well thought out comp, something I assume they practiced a lot before, because these picks, there was no hesitation. They were like, hey, this is what we want in this situation. They seem very confident with what they're locking in every time we see them on the Rift. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them feel confident once the game loads in.
One of the picks I think is very underrated here for Omega, now that I think about it, is Tahm Kench. The Devour will be a fantastic tool to negate the Nocturne Oriana combination. If he is nearby, if Reserved is near, or sorry, not Reserved, not Concrete, Nubility, getting all the supports mixed up. If Nubility is nearby Match and gobbles them up, they can completely keep them safe from that combination. And if High Alert can't get that off, that is going to very much hurt their chances of winning in this game. So pay attention to Nubility in this game. If they can actually make that interaction happen, won't have to worry much about Saren. Like you mentioned, the passive on Malzahar, basically functioning like a Banshee's Veil, will be less enticing of a target unless they can pop it beforehand. And everyone else on the team does have a good amount of beefiness to make sure that they probably don't die instantly to that combo. But we're ready to go for game number 2. Some spicy picks here. Got the Malzahar, got the Gangplank. High Alert, backs against the wall. They need a win here to force game number 3. We are going to see if they can get that done after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to the BOL Premier League. This is Omega Gaming versus High Alert, with Omega Gaming taking a 1-0 lead. Now, I'm seeing some very suspicious movement here. Maybe trying to predict some type of invade. It looks like a 5-point for Omega right now. I'm being very cautious right now, Chong, because I want to give a quick shout out to ProComps, who is our sponsor, barring any type of level 1 action, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. So I would give a quick shout out to our sponsor, ProComps, game changer app for the league community. It's not just like any other tool, it's your personal draft coach, perfect for both teams and solo players. And in fact, you can pair it with any other app that you use. With ProComps, you'll receive real-time drafting advice with tailored champion picks and ban recommendations. It stands out with features such as the ability to generate champion pools in seconds that you can share with your friends. You can post a draft guide to attack the game. You can generate columns based on your preferences, coaches, and analysis, and can even create personalized tier lists. The app already has over 280,000 downloads of daily users like you. ProComps is user-friendly and totally free. It's a no-brainer, and at least give it a try. Download ProComps now, and you'll experience a whole new level of drafting power in your League of Legends games. Go to procomps.gg and download it from Overwolf, or click the link in our bio. Shout out to ProComps, making your draft better, making your League of Legends games a whole lot easier. And with that, minions have spawned here, Chong. We're right into the game.
Yeah, and, looking over everything while I had some time to, nothing really stands out. New Billy is choosing to go the grass build on Tom Kench. As a support player myself, I prefer to go Guardian and build a little bit more of like the pure supportive build. But, they're going to go grass, they're going to go Heartsteel, they're going to do what most support Tom Kenches do. This matchup is kind of impossible for Maokai to play just because, Tom Kench beats every melee champion except for maybe Braum, who also beats every melee support character. So it's very hard to do anything as reserved in this lane. So I'm going to look to see him get on the map and look to make more plays for the rest of this team. Maybe get Ice ahead, help get this Nocturne ahead. Hell, maybe even roam up the top lane to help get Bear ahead in this preferred matchup that they have drafted for him.
And if the priority is assumed from Omega's bot lane, that will make that a whole lot harder. So the fact that they can get push is going to be beneficial. The thing about Maokai is you do pretty well in those melee instances, but you don't beat a Tom Kench in a 1v1 like you were saying, and you do get outranged very easily. So we're going to see First go in. Now they're going to be able to knock down the barrel. They're actually going to win this 1v1. It's disaster here. I was totally caught off guard by that. It looks like it was Bear running that top lane, but out of nowhere, the solo kill comes through in the bot side as well. Flash forward from Madge to get the 2v2 kill out as well. He might be able to knock down Bercia. Fourth shot, not enough to find the execute. Madge still has the barrier, going to use it so that the kill cannot be found here by the Nocturne, but is going to get the unspeakable horror down onto Nubly and secure that kill for themselves. No flash is available. Will that Q deal enough damage? It will not. Madge able to escape with a sliver of health. We got action right out of the gate here, Chong.
I mean, yeah, we got action everywhere. We got it in top, bot. We got it in jungle, as I see on the minimap. Caxi dived in onto Nocturne there, but gets feared away. You know, man, these teams are hot out the gate looking for everything. And the biggest issue when you draft a Jhin lane is he cannot trade in a 2v2 as effective as a lethal tempo user as this Varus. We saw it there. Literally, Versia just not able to get autos fast enough to kill New Billy or Imagine that one. And, you know, Bear wanted this matchup against Perp, but Perp getting the better of him in that level 3 1v1 gets the solo kill, gets that first blood goal, and Perp is going to be sitting happy in this matchup now. You can see the item discrepancy here. It's pickaxe to, I think, the worst item in the game of the glowing moat, as it only gives 5 ability haste for 250. It is one of the most gold inefficient items that we have in League of Legends right now. And as a support character, I hate that I have to build this so many times because I don't have money.
Yeah, gold efficiency is everything for a support player, so you would know all about that. And I just love the way that you said it, glowing moat. It just sounded so glum. Call it glomming mode if you wanted to. But Perp with the pickaxe is interesting because a lot of Renekton players would itemize towards a plated steel cap, so boots into a cloth armor to try and get there as fast as possible so the poke from this gangplank doesn't become as oppressive. But it doesn't even look like that is a problem for Perp. They can just build the attack damage and still win out in the trades and have that even standpoint. Still has flash, so maybe a flash ruthless predator could net another solo kill, but again, you do have to be careful of the oranges, which Bear has to cleanse that away. Mid lane's been pretty quiet. I expect that to be the same over the course of the game. Malzahar just wants to clear those waves, relax, and get involved, find the right nether grass where possible, and help out the team in that regard. So I think we're going to see a steady sort of trajectory in that case in terms of the mid lane. Top lane and bot lane, though, is where we're going to see the majority of the action.
Yeah, and I mean, Bear picks up the Sheen here, which is going to be big for their trading power in this lane and might make Perp's life a little bit more complicated, as we see him still not going towards the plated steel caps, also building a glowing moat themselves. And picking up another longsword, so just going for full damage and hoping to kill Bear before Bear kills him. And Bear went for this grass build because the Q applies on hit effects. You were able to stack that up, and New Billy's going to take a lot of damage here.
In trouble. Here is Caxi, though. They are going to be able to get onto Reserve 2, does not have the flash, and there's the piercing arrow and the feat of warfare going over to Omega, but that will be one back at the very least. Bercia can't quite get the auto attacks off, like you were saying, Chong. The lethal tempo Varus is popping off, and the cannon barrage cannot finish off the kill because Barrier has come off of cooldown. It is once again another disaster. 4-0 start for Madge and this Varus.
Well, yeah, I think we can wrap this one up, put a little bow on it, and look for the next game. No, I'm kidding. It's still possible for Hilo to come back into this one, but it's going to be difficult. Madge is so strong now. He was only on a recurve bow and a Dorn's Blade, getting that triple kill for themselves. A really good counter gank by Caxi, but you saw the amount of damage that Nocturne can just put out in those long exchange, thanks to his passive, the Vorpal Blade, I believe it's called, getting the AoE healing and damage and shred on the team. But if Verger's on any other AD carry, he gets out so much more damage here, but they're going on the Perp.
Dominus pop for Perp, and in the middle of everyone is Ethereal Ice, this Orianna. I don't even know if he was looking at the screen, maybe window shopping or something. Perp with the flash gets away from Nocturne. Caxi wins out on that kill as well. Here comes Saren and Nubilly to help out with the grub. 7-2. Omega Gaming can simply do no wrong.
The saddest thing that happened in that whole play is I don't think Ice had track of her own Orianna ball. It was next to the grubs, and they used Shockwave. So they Shockwave absolutely nothing. And that just feels so bad, because I think if they get a Shockwave out there, the amount of damage that comes out from that might be able to turn that play around actually and push off the side of Omega. but who it knows if that was going to be enough to help. But the second that Bear and Purse started fighting, the rest of Omega was there to help. Yes, Bear got so, they got Purse down super low thanks to Nocturne and the Bear on this gangplank, but it was turned around thanks to Caxi having that flank angle and using the Shroud of Darkness to his own benefit in a way, to be able to flank onto ice and get a huge knock-up, and having to flash away, not able to get any damage out, is really the factor in that one. And like you said, Omega can do no wrong. They're up so much tempo, so much gold at this point, almost at a 3K gold lead at 10 minutes here. It's looking a little bit rough.
It's looking very rough, and everyone from the side of High Alert has to also run into a Malzahar as well. So not only are you down this gold, but if you do try and make plays in the future in these team fights, there is still that hard CC that you have to counteract. Purse is literally just walking at Bear and stat checking him at this point. That call to Meek is going to give them such a massive HP advantage going forward for the rest of this lane. I'm not sure if he can actually set up a freeze or if he's just going to keep pushing it out. Regardless, this Renekton is in their happy place in this lane against the Gangplank.
Yeah,
Paranoia is almost back, so maybe they can make a play with that, but yeah, it is looking really rough.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you and me know, Forrest, as, Purse is still not going towards these plated steel caps, and literally 2v1 Bear and Nocturne, two AD champions who love to auto-attack people, and he just did not care. So, maybe we don't know what we're talking about. Maybe Purse really is just king and knows all, and is showing us right now as they're looking for the play bot lane.
Here comes the Nature's Grasp, and now there's the Orianna combo that you wanted. The Devour is going to be used to save Caxi instead of Madge. That's a huge shutdown. They get another kill on top of it. Might just be able to grab a third as well. That is going to be the case. Reserved is enough HP to tank the tower, and a massive comeback play for High Alert. This is everything that they needed and more to bring themselves back.
We're so back, baby. That is the play, like you said, High Alert was looking for. Ice dropping a few waves in the mid lane to make this play work, but I think it is well worth it because it puts your team back into this game and stems a lot of the bleeding that's happening. Saren going to pick up one, possibly two plates here thanks to the help of Grouse and the Void might push. But, I mean, regardless, you got to be sitting pretty if you are High Alert. You got kills, more kills onto this Nocturne. Nocturne, full 5 kill participation for the kills. One of them going to ice in that play. Oh, Reserve just barely stopped and is going to die here.
And hit as well. Yeah, he's gone. There's nothing you can do about that. Nice heads-up play for Madge to pick that up.
Yeah, and I mean, the scariest part of that whole play is, yes, you did get Madge. Yes, he did go down. He's already on Blade of the Ruin King here at 10 minutes. That is a fully completed item for this Varus. This is way stronger than you wanted a 80 carry to be at this point in the game. So it's going to be hard to try to play out these fights unless you're going for that combo again where you get every form of CC you need onto Madge, who didn't take cleanse either this game. So he's just relying on his footwork and that barrier to keep him alive. So it could be a little bit risky, but I mean, the way he's been playing so far, I do not blame them, and they're just getting even more gold into their pockets at this point.
You can see it's a 2,000 lead for Madge in the gold department right now. 1,000 ahead is Purse on this Renekton. There's a 1K lead on the other side, though, for the Nocturne, and Saren is in a whole world of hurt as well. Ethereal Ice almost found the solo kill, and unfortunately, that Paranoia was just coming off a cooldown. If they had access to that, that certainly would have been a kill. We're seeing a trade of kills in bot lane, though. Madge goes down, but they are able to knock down Vertia, and the shutdown, unfortunately, goes to that Maokai. It was a small shutdown, but it was a little bit of extra gold. They won't be able to put that onto their AD carry. At the very least, though, Nocturne and Ethereal Ice working their way towards the Grubs. But Caxi, hot in pursuit, they're walking out of here. They've been able to grab once. They do deny the 6, but there's still 2 up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, they could still look to go for the play if they really want to. They still have... Oh, they don't have the combo, I'm sorry. Ethereal Ice used it in mid lane when they tried to solo kill Saren, but doesn't work out. But now that new Billy is mid lane, this is a lot more gold that's going to go over to the side.
They're trying to go for it here. They don't have the Shockwave. They have the Cannon Barrage, though. Saren is going to get taken very low. The Abyssal Dive is canceled by the Bramble Smash. Nice job from Reserve. 2 more kills go to this Nocturne. And just a over-aggressive play from Omega is accordingly punished by High Alert.
Yeah, so I think we learned that you don't need the Shockwave with Paranoia. I think Cannon Barrage Paranoia works just perfectly fine for the side of High Alert. And also a great Bramble Smash there out of Reserve to cancel the dive away from New Billy. Really like seeing that interaction. Really heads up by Reserve to see that one after they already used the Twisted Advance to get in range onto Nubility to start that whole fight, but maybe a little greedy for Saren and Nubility to try to take down that mid lane turret. I mean, the 5 grubs is picked up by Omega in the end. Caxi is going to be happy with that. But I don't think Cax is going to be happy with how strong this Nocturne is. I don't know if he'll be able to 1v1 him anymore. Gosh.
As Persp continuing to take those aggressive trades, is ahead in farm over the Gangplank, has those 2 kills, went in for the Eclipse, now working towards those plated steel caps. With all the gold concentrated on Nocturne, they are able to do a really good job, as we're seeing once again, Versia getting so very low. There's the Chains of Corruption that's going to go down onto the Reserved, and now Caxi is here as well. The Nature's Grasp rooted them up, but Maj is able to successfully knock down the tree. And it is Nubility and Cact and the Varus here, I'm getting tripped up on my names, that are finding these 2 versus 2s so well, so consistently. They knock down first turret, they secure themselves feats of strength this time, and they've done an excellent job of pushing their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if Reserve didn't get that, ultimate towards the exact angle that they did, Caxi would have had the chance to Warrior Trickster and then just kill Versia there. So really good by him to ult that way if it wasn't planned. But Bear's gonna die now.
He didn't use Flash. He could have maybe tried that. I think he actually might have got the kill if he did that, but decides not to. At least gets the Flash off of Bear.
But the rest of his team is here to help Bear. Bear is still in a lot of trouble.
What? He just, he bamboozled. The whole team is here. Persp has Flash. Let's see what he does here. He's going to Flash, but the Paranoia is just going to follow him. Yeah, you're definitely dead. Another bunch of gold. That's 600 into the hands of this Nocturne. But Chong, they're marching it down the mid lane.
Yeah, this is just not a good trade for High Alert. They're going to lose an inhib turret at this point in the game.
Yeah, no one's killing those recalls.
Yeah, oh my gosh, wait. There's no way we're going to just keep racing like this. Okay, they're recalling now, but I don't think that Omega is I think they're going to make the smart play. They're going to back off. They're not going to take the inhib. You do not want to break it. If anybody knows, Church Valles, all this stuff, he's the person who brought into the game that you do not break the inhibitors before Baron is on the map, just because that is so much more gold going into your enemy's pockets. You do not want that unless there is something much more valuable you're trading for it. So Omega definitely done their studying, not breaking the inhibitor, really good play. But that push is so beneficial for Omega because once you're able to break those mid lane turrets, it moves your vision line forward. You're able to place towards deeper and, into the enemy side of the jungle, which makes it harder for the enemy to play on whatever side that they want to play for. And Bear's in a lot of trouble once again.
They're a little bit overextended, though. They do have to be careful. They shouldn't dive underneath this tower. There's a lot of people from High Alert waiting to make this play happen, but they do secure the tier 1 in the bot side. And I like what you pointed out there, Chong. It is very smart not to take the inhibitors so early on. And Omega, they're making those right choices. Now they are sieging. This is a little sketchy, though, because they do have Shockwave online. Does High Alert. Paranoia is coming off a cooldown as well. There is the ball. It's put onto the Nocturne. Here we go. Paranoia is used. They have found Magic. He explodes. That's the pick that they wanted. Nether Grasp is going to go onto the Nocturne, but they aren't able to take him down. Here's the Cyclone. It's onto so many different people, but this might just be a clean 4-for-0. They can't bring down the Nocturne, and that is a massive play for High Alert. We watched it in slow motion, and they are now up in kills and even in gold.
Yeah, High Alert outplaying there in that whole fight. I mean, I wish we knew this jungler's actual name so we could shout them out and not just be calling them their character's name. But they are popping off on Nocturne this game with the support of the team. Barely staying alive in that fight. Caxi flashing forward to try to finish the job, but just not able to. And yeah, we were talking about how much concentrated gold is on this Nocturne, but they are making it work and they are playing it beautifully. Maj got blown up there. And the big thing is, once again, Nubility did not eat Maj. It went on to, I believe, Caxi. And that is not what you want to be doing. I mean, pro tip, if you can click on the champion fast enough, click on their picture that's either above your mini-map or the left side of the screen, because it'll target them and it won't target when you try to click that. It can save a lot of time. It's a helpful tip, trust me. But I mean, like, you pick this Tom Kench to deter that exact play where they try to use everything onto one character. But if you're not using your ultimate to stop that all from happening, it's just kind of a wasted pick. It feels like New Billy really hasn't done anything in this game besides the powerful laning that he has. Okay, Forrest, we finally got a name. Apparently the jungler's name is Ryu. So there we go. Can finally shout him out by name.
There we go. Ryu, excellent job on this Nocturne. Has absolutely redeemed themselves from a pretty poor performance on the Diana. I think everyone on the side of High Alert can agree that that game number 1 definitely wasn't their best. Game number 2, they've made some mistakes as well, but they're starting to bring it back here. But is Bear in some trouble right now? Caxie's going to find the knockup with the Cyclone, trying to stick to him, trying to look for the Ruthless Predator. They're going to find it, but the Oranges are going to cleanse the stun. It's not going to matter because the damage is too overwhelming. There is a pick for Omega in the top side. They do still have access to the Rift Herald. I'd not to use it. Caxie is going to take this recall, and maybe they're just going to look to try and get back in time to get some vision around this Drake, which is coming up in a minute 45, but I feel like they definitely could have blown that top lane wide open.
Yeah, I mean, like, Purse was still going to get a lot of damage onto this turret thanks to having the 5 grubs. He's going to get 2 Void Might spawns. But, I mean, the biggest misplay in that whole thing isn't Caxie not channeling the Herald. It's High Alert just giving over mid lane prior because they had the push. They could have threatened the turret with 3 members, but choose to give it up, letting the side of Omega push this so far because they've broken the 2 inhibitors that, I mean, the 2 turrets in the mid lane, that they can just now walk back up and support Perp on this push for the top lane tier 2 and make it really hard for High Alert to defend it. So I really don't like that High Alert didn't pressure that mid lane tier 1 turret. But I mean, Omega might kind of like have slipped on their footing in this game thanks to how strong Ryu and the rest of the High Alert is playing around him. But I mean, if you're Omega, you're still in the driver's seat. You still got to be looking for these plays. And if you're High Alert, you got to be trying to crack open this mid lane turret, which they should be able to now. It depends on... No, we're just going to walk away. So, not risking it, even though you know where Caxie and Saren just were. Going to channel recall, and it looks like we're going to get a fight at this dragon in 30 seconds.
One of the most important things to think about is what both of these teams want. And High Alert wants to engage first. If Omega can engage before the Nocturne Orianna combo goes down and makes them start to panic, then that will be a huge asset to them, and it will probably result in High Alert messing up their combo. It really does depend on if they can pull it off or not. You can see them setting it up. The ball is on Ryu right now. So if I am Omega, I am saying to my team, whoever's making the shot calls happen, we have to hit first, because when we don't, they're nice and set up. They completely annihilate our backline, and that's where they're finding success. And they're going to look for it right here. They're jumping onto Caxie again. This is the jungler. The shockwave does connect. They go into the clone, but it simply does not matter. Ethereal Ice finds the kill. They have found Madge as well. Reserved has found the Twisted Advance. Versia's Curtain Call will finish the job. 2 kills go to High Alert. They've got what they needed, and now they continue the siege down the mid lane.
And I mean, High Alert is just playing on High Alert right now. They went for the pick onto Caxie because Madge disappeared out of vision, but they still got both the Magic Summoners in the end because Reserved was able to find him, flashes forward, uses everything to get on top of him. So really high, like, heads up a play by High Alert, and even using the Cannon Barrage from there to clear that bot wave that Saren was trying to push in because there was no play to make on the map otherwise. So High Alert really stepping up their gameplay here in game number 2. They're now up 1,000 gold despite being down 2 turrets because they picked up 2 dragons. They have the 3 extra kills over top of Omega, and also all the assists they have are helping to generate towards that gold advantage. So they're doing what they have to be able to win this game, but this could still go either way. Otacon is spawned. It is on the bot side of the map. There is no Baron to take yet because we're not at the 25-minute mark. So this game still has a lot of flips to go through, but I mean, High Alert is starting to find their footing again in this series.
It feels like Omega just can't figure out this combination. They continue to isolate themselves. They continue to allow Ryu and Ethereal Ice to find this combination onto key targets. Caxie was by themselves in the mid lane when they really shouldn't have been. At this point, if they can't position properly, I would think that they should try and itemize into a Guardian Angel for Caxie and maybe even an Edge of Night for Madge, which would not necessarily be super synergistic because they are building attack speed and on hit, but you do get that little bit of lethality, you get that extra bit of health, and you get that spell shield to prevent that shockwave from going down onto you unless they pop it prior. So I would think that maybe if they can't figure it out positioning wise, maybe they try and itemize into something like that, because right now this combination has been tried and true for High Alert, and we are going to see now around this Voracious Otacon if they can replicate that success again.
Yeah, and this is the point in the game where I really do not like this Tom Kench build, because New Billy has really not been able to do anything. Only has 66 stacks on that Heartsteel. I don't know how much bonus health he has from the grass, but this is why I prefer to go towards that Guardian and build stuff like Locket and Knight's Vow, because you're just guaranteed value instead of trying to generate your own value with an item and the keystone that you choose. So it can be really hard to play Tom Kench at this point in the game, because it feels like you have to be walking forward to get these Heartsteel procs to be able to do something as a front line, but it's also you want to sit back and sit on top of Madge and be ready there with a Devour for when he gets dove on. So I mean, that's my personal belief when I play Tom Kench is, hey, what can I do to make sure my 80 carry stays alive? And Saren is just gonna die here. They don't even okay, they use the shockwave, I was gonna say. But that's going to be Otacon started up here. This could be risky because they really have no true tank, so they do take a lot of damage from this.
They're looking for Versia and Reserved. Versia did have to use the flash. Looks like they've gotten themselves to safety. They should probably turn back towards the Otacon, but it's actually the Ryu and Ethereal Ice who've gotten off of it. They found Reserved. The Devour was good. Madge is able to grab that kill. They don't have the combination here. Now is a pretty solid time for Omega to look for a fight. Persp has TP, so does Bear. Do the top laners get involved here? For the moment, it is a 3v3 with a really awkward flank. This flank would be beautiful if they had their combination available. They just don't. Are they going to look for this inhibitor? They're jumping onto Nubly right now. Curtain Call is used, but it is a 3 versus 2. And the Tom Kench should be okay. Caxi going to tank up that last fourth shot. Here comes the teleport now. First is going to join the play. Big damage from Ethereal Ice. Caxi goes into the clone, but the Unspeakable Horror Fear is there. Here comes Saren. It wasn't the Renekton. It is the Malzahar. Do they have the Nether Grasp available? It does not look like they do. Somehow, some way, Ryu just cannot die. Now Purse finally gets involved. Gets that 1k bounty. That's huge for the Crocodile. But Versia is chasing him down. Can they find the CC? He actually looks for the 1 versus 3. The Slice and Dice gets 1. Can he get another? No, the barrels will finally send him to the death realm. Nice heroic attempt from Purse, but we got pandemonium here around the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely insane. And Purse just going full all in, knowing that he can get the kill on ice. Maybe he doesn't get out in the end, but he is happy with that trade. I mean, absolutely well played out of High Alert, waiting for cooldowns to come back, playing it out. Ryu lived forever. I was not expecting that. And the Nether Grasp never comes out of Saren. I think that is a crucial mistake by them, because I think if they just Nether Grasp Ryu or even Ethereal Ice in that play, it just turns completely on the head. It goes a complete 180. Super Omega favorite in that state, but they don't do that. Now it's a wasted TP. He's back in the death chamber. Now he's going to go top lane with no TP, and you have Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Purse has no TP, double TP on the side of High Alert. So this is just a straight up winning play for High Alert, because they also stopped the push that Omega was getting in the mid lane. I mean, if you're High Alert, you are even more happy with this, because now if you get another great play like that, Baron is on the table. You're able to go for this. You can have Bear defend up in the top lane, which we see now, and then look to TP afterwards. So High Alert can really just run the map how they want to in this current state, especially now that they still have this Orianna shockwave with Ryu's ultimate again, and it keeps getting on a lower and lower cooldown the more levels and items that they're getting.
We got a triple neutral objective map state right now. Otacon, Ocean Drake, and Baron. It's like choice overload for these teams on which to go for. But right now, High Alert has been finding the plays. There's the ball. Once again, it is on Ryu. They have Madge locked and loaded in their sights, but there is the Devour. Finally, they're able to save their 80 carry, but he spits them right back out when more danger is around, so it doesn't end up mattering in the end. And High Alert, they get 2. They got it. They actually had it, Chong, but they just didn't quite execute the last half of it, which is keep the Varus inside of your Tahm Kench before all of that goes through. 2 kills. Now they're looking for Saren. Flash Twisted Advance. He has the spell shield, but that's only going to delay the inevitable as Saren falls, really struggling on this Malzahar. Baron is now locked and loaded, ready to be taken by High Alert.
Yeah, so Newbilly kind of looks like me in some games where a team asks me, hey, can you play this champion support? And I go, yeah, sure, totally can. And I've never played it once in my life. It feels like Omega was like, hey, can you play Tahm Kench? They're like, yeah. And then they're just not executing on this ultimate that the way they need to. Caxi is just going to go down really good. Stop of damage the second he gets into the pit there by High Alert. The play got to go for by Caxi, but I mean, the Tahm Kench has not really looked like it in this game. Really not, like I keep saying, not using it the way it needs to be. And they had it there. He ate Madge, and then for some reason, something possessed him to spit Madge out when everybody was still there. So I'm just not really liking this. Madge started this game out 5-1. He is now sitting at 8-6. This is not what you want when your 80 carry starts a game with 5 kills.
It's been a combination of High Alert playing this combination of Nocturne Orianna so well. Ethereal Ice and Ryu have been killer. But at the same time, Omega just simply has not been able to solve the puzzle of how can we keep our carry safe. Why we've been kind of beating a dead horse here. Finally, they get that Devour, but they just messed it up towards the end of that play. They continue to isolate themselves. Saren is 0-5 on this Malzahar, continues to isolate themselves in the side lane. 3 pickings for Ryu to knock down. Now they're going to be the ones to start this Otacon here, Chong, but I feel like we're just going to get the exact same situation. Their combo is ready to go, but they're trying to burn it in time. Maybe they get the withdrawals. They're actually going to use the Nether Grasp here onto that Nocturne. The ball is on top of me. He's going right on in, but Caxi will get the smite. So the withdrawals will be available. Opening up the curtains is Versia. Finds one snipe. Can they find the next? They land the shots, but Purse is so tanky. Fortunately, that death won't be too much here for Omega. They just burned that objective and got right out.
Yeah, I mean, real heads up play to quickly burst that. But overall, I mean, so close there by the side of Ryu and Ethereal Ice. Ryu almost in there to get the smite steal away. And that would have been such a momentum swing if he was able to get that. You know, Saren now going to get this top lane turret. I guess, did he TP up here for this? Because his TP's on cooldown again. Okay, so yeah, he did TP up for this. Oh, wait, he might not even get this. I think Bear just clears out this wave in the meantime, and now bot lane turret goes down for the side of High Alert. They have the Baron buff. They have the push. They can look for this. The Paranoid's back up off of cooldown. We have the Maokai ultimate. Bear can be involved with the Cannon Barrage, and the command Shockwave almost off of cooldown here for Ethereal Ice as they rotate into the mid wave to start to get this push. But Ice is by her lonesome, so could be a little bit risky if Omega chooses to go on her.
They're playing it pretty safe. Ethereal Ice knows that there's some people from the side of Omega that are walking up in the mid lane. They see them on the map right now. What kind of value can Omega get from these withdraws? Are they just going to use it so that, or did they just secure it because High Alert now can't get it? Or are they actually going to force a fight? The thing is now 15 seconds, that's a long time. That could mean that if they do get ace, not only do they give at least a couple gold over to High Alert, they do probably lose a couple inhib towers. They have still held onto their base, but we have to think about Bear on top of this as well, scaling very heavily on the Gangplank. Will now be a side lane threat as well as they found Ethereal Ice. They get the Nether Grasp down. Here comes Newbilly as well. They're going to go golden, but they are certainly going to drop. Teleport is being challenged here from Purse to defend that tier 2 tower, and a big piece of the High Alert team has been knocked out, but they're going to try and take out this Renekton, who still has that false life available. So even if they kill him here, they're not going to be able to get the full value of it, and Purse will be on the back on the map very soon. They do get it. So, and they get the tier 2 as well. A little bit of a trade across the map, but still, honestly, I think favoring High Alert.
Yeah, I do think it favors High Alert. Yes, Ethereal Ice does go down, but the amount of time that she wasted at the side of Omega, thanks to having that Zhonya's, is able to get another tier 2 turret for their team. They get another Otacon buff removed from somebody else. Perps tried to go in. They burned a few ultimates, but like no major summoner spells used on the side of High Alert for that play at all. They only use a Maokai Ignite, which is going to be back up off cooldown soon enough. So I think High Alert is once again very happy with this play. And Bear on this Gangplank has silently grown into a monster. We're on 3 items. We have Collector, Mortal Reminder, and the IE. So, you know, started off the game a little bit rough, but we're up at 300 CS. We're almost at 10 CS a minute for Bear in this game. And the amount of damage that they're going to get in a team fight is kind of insane if they're able to get the barrel chain.
Yeah, the barrels will be, they'll just nuke somebody, especially Saren and Madge. Well, Madge actually has a little bit of armor, so it won't be as bad, but then they do also have the Mortal Reminder and that 100% crit. These barrels are going to rip through everyone. At this point, and it has been for quite a while, High Alert's game to lose. We have the next dragon coming up in 45 seconds. That is potential Ocean Soul up for grabs on High Alert's side. If they get that, I mean, it's really not impossible for Omega to win this game based on the way that it's been going. They haven't looked as collected as they did in game number 1. High Alert had a rough start, but they have looked on par for the last 20 minutes of this game, maybe 15 minutes to be more accurate. And they're looking to seal the deal right here, right now. Could happen at this Drake.
I feel like they were waiting for Madge to walk up into vision there to get the combo on them, but Madge is scared for his life, not looking to go in at all.
Oh,
Bear died?
that's huge.
Bear flashed,
Really
too.
big. We got a paranoia though. We got a fight going on, but it's just on to Caxi. This could be the fight that Omega needs. It's 4 versus 5. They use the current call. They only kill the clone. Saren is in some trouble. Chains of Corruption do connect onto reserves. That piercing arrow does a little bit of damage, but reserve still very healthy. They don't have access to the shockwave. They're trying to chase down this fight. They don't have a lot of their tools. What can the backline of Omega do? They've knocked down 1, 3 versus 3. It's a trade of supports. Caxi goes in, jumps out with the clone. They do have to respect the damage of this knockdown, but right now they're just canceling those backs because it is Purse that's split pushing on that top side of the map. They've knocked down the turret. The inhibitor should be next. They might look for the mid inhibitor as well. A massive solo kill here from Purse in the top lane opens up the game for Omega. Do they look for the end? That would be absolutely insane if they could pull this off. There is 5 seconds to go here on Bear. This might have been the overextension from Omega. Paranoia is channeled, waiting to go in is Ryu. Very low on mana, half HP. That cannon barrage does so much damage. Versia is hitting from the back line very hard. Force shot goes in, slice to the side for Purse. They're trying to buy enough space to get themselves out of here. Caxi might have stepped too far forward, but goes into the clone to buy a little bit more space. And Omega are able to get out with their lives, but the question is, can they get back in time to stop this Drake from going down?
I mean, they're gonna look onto the Baron here instead, and they're starting this one up. This could be really dangerous for the side of Omega, as we see High Alert looking to answer this one. We see them all walking into the area. I mean, this is gonna be a coin flip. Okay, they get him off thanks to the curtain call. It looks like they're going to try to keep it aggroed. Bear walking in to keep the aggro going as they see the recall coming out from Saren here. But Saren does have TP. Going to back off and now go back to the spot lane. I think the biggest thing wasn't the solo kill there. That Purse got onto Bear. Oh, we're back on this Baron. All right. So real quick, I don't think the solo kill was the big thing. I think the big thing was Caxi's clone taking so much of the engage away from High Alert. But we're going to get a team fight in like 2 seconds. I can feel it.
The combination is up and ready to go. Grouped up in this pit is Omega. This could be the mistake of the game, but going straight on forward is Purse. They use the combination onto the top laner, and it is going to be Omega that get the Baron in the middle of everyone. I think it's Ryu. Ryu is down. The big carry here for High Alert is gone. Reserve is trying to keep everyone away from their backline, but it's only going to be able to live for so long. New Billy is able to take up so much damage. Bear and Versia can't quite deal the damage. Versia does have Flash. Versia does have Cleanse. Can they get out of here? Ruthless Predator is good here from Purse, trying to knock down this Orianna. Will not be successful in doing so just yet because going golden is etherealized to delay the inevitable for just a moment. Versia is getting a 3rd kill. Absolutely insane in this fight. A whole triple kill to their name. The question is, can they hold the base?
I mean, using all your engage like that onto Purse when you could have gotten onto Saren or even Nubili, who had Madge inside him, I think that is the game ender. I don't know if they're going to be able to defend this
They're going
push.
to try and defend this. Spare is so low. That hail of arrows not quite going to catch him. Nexus is exposed. Reserved is alive. They're trying to hit onto the Nexus. A couple more auto attacks will do the trick. Can Sarah do it? One more auto. Yes, he will. The 2-0 is complete. A wild ending to this series. Somehow Omega, from the grasp of death, from the grasp of defeat, they pull out a victory in probably the wildest game you and I have witnessed here, Chong. And, well, maybe not the wildest based on what happened last week, but that was an absolute banger.
My heart goes out to High Alert because they were playing this game so well, and one engage lost them the game. And it just feels so bad with how they were playing it. I mean, shout out to Omega realizing what they could get off of those plays and able to push High Alert to an area they didn't seem comfortable in and were just able to out execute them and out macro them. And it ended up being the game winner. Hey, we talked about the 5 grubs maybe not mattering, but it could have mattered in that final push there. Also with Saren's, the little voidlings he spawns as Malzahar. I mean, overall, High Alert probably should have came away with the win in this one and pushes to game 3, but Omega gets away with highway robbery, gets away with murder, and gets a not clean, but gets the 2-0 here today.
Yeah, I mean, that was a messy game. It was a very messy early game from High Alert. We thought Omega had it in the bag. And then they played almost a pixel perfect mid game. They performed the combination of Nocturne Oriana so nicely. We had our doubts because at the start of the game around the grubs, we know what happened. That looked rough. I was scratching my head saying, have they really practiced this combo? But they did do such a good job. They were just shy of that death cap power spike coming through on Ethereal Ice. And in the end, off the back of a super chaotic sequence, Omega able to pull it off. And they kind of get justice for the rough week 1 that they had, able to bring their record now to 1-1 with a 2-0 over High Alert. That is going to wrap up our production for the day. A lot shorter of a day, but we will be back next week with another doubleheader, barring any type of schedule rescheduling that happened this week with a stream this Friday. But big shout out to everyone who did tune into the stream today. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Chris, who filled in on production side of things today, able to get a stream up because of him. Shout out to our sponsor, ProComps, won last time. And also be sure, if you are interested, check out the draft draw show, which is happening, I believe, later tonight. So check that out if you want to see more of that. Or was I right there, Chong?
Draw show happened Friday.
Oh, it happened Friday.
Passed for Draft League is Monday. I believe it'll be
Okay.
a Ruby division game of I believe it's Spuds and Spartans.
Okay, I see. So I had my dates mixed up there. It was this week, but just not tonight. It's already happened.
Yeah.
So never mind. Don't catch the draw show because it's not happening. But anyways, that was the production. Nice casting with you once again, Chong. We'll see you next week. Everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day and happy Super Bowl Sunday.